This is going to be a long video, so strap in. This is me reading the Ramp's open letter to the community of Hamilton. To our neighbors in Hamilton, the leadership of the Ramp would like to communicate our commitment to the city of Hamilton and its people. Hamilton is our home, and we love this city. We are grateful to live here, worship here, work here, raise families here, and welcome people from across the nation and beyond into this beautiful place. We believe God has great plans to use Hamilton for the good of every citizen. We want to play a part in the plan with humility, integrity, and love. We would like to take a moment to provide some clarity. Okay, remember their commitment is humility, integrity, and love. Let's see if even in this letter they stick to what they say that their motive is. Okay, integrity means moral and ethic principles. So let's see if they meet their own standard. They're trying to make this letter seem like it's about transparency and that they are willing to address things and talk to the public and listen to your concerns. But remember, they turned off the comments of this post, both in the What's Happening in Hamilton Facebook group and on their own Ramp Church Facebook. So if indeed they were going to operate under humility, they would have left the comments opened for you to be able to speak up and make your concerns heard. And they could have taken those concerns in with humility and read them and understood and tried to get to know what's going on and to better serve you as the community. Again, integrity, is that show integrity? Are they keeping their moral standards of communications open with the public? Doesn't seem like it. Is that love? Do you feel loved, Hamilton people, that they didn't let you speak up? I mean, whether you love them or not, right? Does that make you feel loved? Does it make you feel loved that you can't comment and say, I support you in your awesome letter that you wrote? Or does it make you feel loved that you can't say, hey, you know what? I have some really actual real concerns that I would like to talk about. Already off to a bad start, in my opinion. This is what they do. This is what they do, in my opinion. They state things and then they don't live up to them. These are questions that they're asking themselves, uh, acting like they're being transparent to the community. Okay, so this is their first question. Are there any known child safety concerns involving current or former personnel of the ramp? We released an official statement in March of this year that a former employee was terminated. A report was immediately made to the appropriate local authorities. Based on the information known to us, that does not occur on ramp property. In relation to Ramp University, the ramp is working openly and transparently. The proper authorities have requested that we not comment further on this case. Okay, remember what the question was. They asked themselves this question, okay? Are there any known child safety concerns involving current or former personnel? Okay, the question is there any concern for child predators, whether they have been they're on staff right now or they have been on staff in the past? What was their answer? Their answer was yes. That was their answer. Because what did they say? We found out that one of our staff members who was working for us at the time until we found out that he was a predator, okay, we took him to the proper authorities. So the question is, are there any concerns with there having been a child predator in staff currently or previously? And the answer is yes. There at one point was at least one child predator working for the ramp, and the ramp had no idea. Okay, this is a ministry that thrives on saying that God speaks to them daily about everything that they need to do. Yet they are saying that they did not know that there was a child predator amongst them. So is there any concern that there might be another one? Who knows? There might be, right? Again, this is not a question that we're asking them. This is a question that they're asking themselves. And their answer is yes. They answered the question themselves. Yes, there was a former employee at the ramp who was a child predator. So, yes, there were concerns about the safety of children. And yes, there was a child predator who used to work at the ramp. Question number 2. Has Karen Wheaton been involved in a cover up of this or any case? Karen Wheaton personally shared with the appropriate legal authorities all information known to her and the specific timelines by which she was made aware of the information. She has been requested by law enforcement to make no further comments while they continue their investigation. Apart from the above case that has been reported, Karen Wheaton and the ramp are unaware of any case of child abuse by a person while employed by the ramp. We take child protection very seriously. If anyone is aware of any such occurrence, we urge you, in the interest of child protection, to make a report with the appropriate authorities. Public rumors and online speculation do not protect children, but responsible reporting can. Okay. There are many credible people who are claiming that they personally, okay, shared the information about this specific case with the ramp from as early as 2024. Remember, the ramp did not fire Samuel Bentley until 2026. So since 2024, there are credible people who are coming forward who are saying that they told Karen and the ramp about these types of allegations that were happening at the ramp. There's also allegations that these rumors about SA of children by this guy, who's Karen's son in law, were circulating amongst the youth group at the ramp. And there's an allegation that Karen went to the youth group herself and shut down the youth group because these rumors were spreading. These rumors ended up being true, and Samuel Bentley, Karen's son in law, ended up admitting to saying at least 2 children. So, as mandatory reporters, it was not up to them to deem whether or not the accusations seemed legitimate or not, whether or not they were just rumors or speculations. As mandatory reporters, as clergy who are mandatory reporters in the state of Alabama, it was their obligation to go immediately to the authorities and let the authorities do the investigation. Okay, did they do that? It does not seem like they did that. So, did Karen know? If these allegations are to be believed, she did know. Now, as we see, they put here a case of a child. Okay, because there are many other cases, some that I was there for, that I personally saw, of students who went to ramp leadership and told them of SA and SA advancements towards them, and they were turned away because they brought these things up to ramp leadership. Okay, question number 3 says, what is the ramp doing to keep children, students, and attendees safe? The ramp is deeply committed to child safety and the well-being of all those entrusted to our care. Our leadership team is continually reviewing current policies and providing training to ensure child safety and safe culture for employees, students, church members, and event attendees. Okay, I want you to notice here that it says that they are deeply committed to the well-being, not just of children, but of everybody who is entrusted to their care. That includes employees and students. Okay, my personal opinion, based on my own personal testimony, I do not believe that the ramp cared about me or my well-being. Never at any point did I ever feel personally that the ramp, while I was a student there, while I was part of the staff there, while I worked for them, while I did security and parking and greeting and all those things that I did there, I never once felt like my well-being was taken into consideration. I was starving because of the demands of the culture and the leadership of the ramp. That's part of well-being. The fact that I and other students struggled to feed ourselves, that's part of well-being. And at no point do I feel like, even today, students can say that they feel as though they are being taken care of and that their well-being is uh, first in the minds of the leadership and the teachers at the ramp. In fact, it's quite the opposite. We had many teachers, including Casey Doss and Jason Adair, who would belittle students, who would belittle them because they were going through struggles like not having enough money, struggles in their own personal lives, struggles with depression, struggles with mental health. These teachers would belittle students for going through these struggles. So, no, I would say that the students, a lot of the students would say that they felt that the teachers were bullies and that they were being bullied um, while at the school. And again, this was part of the culture because at the ramp, they made it seem like you were going through the fire and that these bullyings by the teachers were just them trying to push you forward and that somehow this bullying was going to make you grow spiritually and emotionally and turn you into a godly person. And there's a lot of stuff that I could talk about when it comes to well-being. For example, I worked at the storehouse, which was their food bank that they shut down because it wasn't making any money. There was black mold all over that building. In fact, a lot of the chosen members would not go work there because of all the black mold. My brother and I did work there all the time. And when we would leave that place, we would cough up black stuff. When we would sneeze, the snot was black, okay? It was just awful working conditions. We were not given any protection, any masks or gloves. Nothing was provided to us. We were just told what to do, when to do it, and we were asked not to talk back. We were asked not to give any opinions. We were just asked to work because we were there for them, and that's what was going to grow us. Is if we planted ourselves and we were under dirt. I mean, they even had a whole preaching about how the best plants grow under manure. So the worse the situation, right? If they were treating you like manure, then they were doing the best job that they possibly could because that the manure is what gives the plant the most amount of nutrients. I could go on and on. I tore down houses for them. They never gave me any sort of protection against all the mold in these houses. I sustained some injuries from some other students who were not careful. One time, a load bearing beam of a house fell on my shoulder. If I had gone to the hospital, the ramp would have never cared. They would have never even apologized. They put me in that kind of situation. Again, part of well-being is listening to students when they bring up accusations of SA, which students did bring up and were absolutely ignored. Not just ignored, but they were told that it was their own fault, that they were SA'd because they were attracting sin. Okay, what is the ramp and what does it actually do? The ramp is a non-denomination Christian ministry based in Hamilton, Alabama for more than 25 years. We minister with a focus on teaching young people that Jesus is real, that being a Christian is more than just going to church. It is giving your life to love and follow Jesus Christ by loving and serving your community. The ramp has three main ministries in Hamilton. Okay, so the ramp is non-denominational, and basically, if you don't know, all that means is a non-specific way of saying that they are not under any denomination. So there is no above leadership, above the ramp, above Karen Wheaton. Sure, there is a board, but that board can't tell the ramp what to do. They can only advise. And it just simply means that there is no oversight. There is nobody on top, like, for example, like a bishop of a certain area who is trying to see what's going on at the ramp and having multiple meetings with them and actually has any authority to tell them that they need to change or do something different. And that's basically all it means. All it means is that they don't answer to anybody. They don't have even any faith statements. Beliefs and doctrines can be fluid. They can just be at the whims of whatever it is that they feel at the time or in those seasons. and they could just change their mind about whatever they want. There is no above leadership higher than Karen. Okay, I want to draw your attention that they say that that what they teach kids is to love Jesus and follow him by serving your community. It's my opinion that the ramp does not serve the community of Hamilton. Okay, the ramp does not do any events that are just geared only towards the community of Hamilton, such as things at the park, cookouts at the park, things that benefit you, Hamilton, and your community. I am not aware of any events that the ramp has done, certainly not while I was there, that were about extending love and providing the needs of people within the community. In fact, the only thing that they had was the storehouse, which was their food bank, and they shut that down because it didn't make any money. Now, that's what's their statement, okay? Their statement was that it was a drain on resources, and so they shut it down. And since then, I'm not aware of anything that the ramp does that serves the community of Hamilton. So again, they're not meeting their own standard. How is it that they're showing kids how to love their community and serve if they themselves aren't doing it? This is what they do, okay, and this is how they serve the community. All right, Ram Church, our local church family has that meets Sunday mornings. It's just a regular old church. Ramp University, a ministry training school that teaches young people the fundamentals of the Bible, prayer, as well as equipping students for ministry, leadership, worship leading, missionary work, and preaching the gospel through the arts. Okay. Already, this is misleading because the name itself is misleading because it's not an accredited university, yet it has the name university within it. As Christians, my opinion and my standard would be that I would never do that because that seems like lying. Kids are saying they're going to a university, but at the same time, it's unaccredited. And it is not, in fact, does not meet any of the requirements to be an actual university. So the name itself is misleading. Another thing that I thought was funny here is that they say they preach the gospel through the arts. So they pop, lock, and drop it, and people in the crowd are just going to be like, "Oh, Jesus!" So, somehow, like that's how it works, I guess, for them. I do remember that there used to be like a community outreach with a guy named Brian Beasley, and we would go out and we would preach the gospel to people outside in the community, and I think that it was really problematic because it just makes the community hate you because there was actually like standards of like a quota that you had to meet in order to pass the class. So you had to pray for a certain amount of people. You had to win a certain amount of people to God. You had to witness to a certain amount of people. And so you had all these students, 200, 300 students going down to the community. And every single person that they saw, they just all bombarded on them. Why? Because they needed the credit in order to pass a class. It wasn't because it was born out of their own heart and desire to see somebody come to the Lord. It was because they had to do it for basically a school project. And so that is really bad for the community. I've seen this type of thing happen at Bethel Church when I was at Bethel, Redding, California. Awful. The community there hates Bethel. And if you go, I tried to witness while I was there because I'm an evangelist. And so super hard. It's the worst place you could go to try to witness to somebody. They are automatically blocked off to Jesus because so many students just come and bombard them on a daily basis. So imagine yourself, you're a regular old Hamilton person trying to work your job, at Hardee's or whatever, and there's all these kids who are trying to meet their quota for their class, and they're just coming to you and just all bombarding you all day, every day. It ends up being very tiring, especially when they're trying to give you like prophetic words or trying to heal you. It just becomes exhausting for the community itself. So I think that maybe that's why they switched over to only the dancing. Come watch us dance. You'll get saved. Okay, Ramp conferences. We host a number of conferences each year when people come to worship here, the gospel, encounter the presence of God, and strengthen in their faith and calling. Over the years, we have welcomed hundreds of thousands of people to our city and have seen many lives transformed by the power of Jesus. Okay, these events are pretty big for a very small town, okay? And it puts a burden on the city. And I think, in my opinion, there should be an open communication between the ramp and the city to see and make sure that the inhabitants of the city are okay with so much burden being placed upon them because of these events. Now, I do agree that it can be good. It can bring outside money, and places like restaurants can benefit from it. But again, the ramp has a list. At least they did when I was there, a list of pre-approved restaurants. And if you don't, kiss butt, you're not going to be on that list. So it really puts, and I was even when I was there, they would literally tell you not to go to certain restaurants. So if you didn't back them or if you said anything negative towards them, they could blacklist you and you could lose your business because of it. So again, I think this is a double-edged sword for the community. Question. Okay, does the ramp charge to attend services? Ramp Church, the weekly Ramp Church services have always been and will always be free of charge. Okay, whether or not they charge, it doesn't matter. Okay, because the reality is that there's so much emphasis put on giving that people feel obligated to give. I've seen it to this day. A huge lot of the time of every conference, of every meeting, of every Sunday morning, to persuading those who are there to give, almost guilting them into giving, saying things like, if you don't give, then God won't bless you. Saying things like, you need to sow a seed in order to reap a harvest. Telling people that the only way that their children are going to be saved or their grandchildren are going to stop being LGBTQ plus IA is if they give money to the ramp. And that happens a lot. We've seen people, I've shared videos on here of them standing up and pressuring people saying, who has $500? I need 10 people right now who have $500. Stand up right now. Give your 500. If you don't have the money, put it on your credit card. Right? We've all seen it. So whether or not you charge doesn't really matter because your emphasis is money. And that can be seen by your church, by your services and the way they're structured. The crescendo, the top of the service is the giving, right? Someone comes and they share an amazing word from God and people are crying. Immediately, someone comes up like Casey Doss, I've shared a video, and say, the Lord touched you today? If he did, you must give money. Okay, so again, they don't charge, just like any other church. But again, this isn't just a ramp, it's just predatory church practices that make it seem like God needs you to give them money. Okay, Ramp conferences. The Ramp hosts many youth conferences each year, all of which are free of charge. Donations made during the registration process are optional. Okay, this is misleading. In my opinion, it's misleading because when you go to their website, you see there that there is no free ticket. And nowhere on their website does it say that you can get a ticket for free. In fact, the ticket that is free is called a sponsored ticket. And so it is not free at all. Somebody pays for that ticket. And then there's two other tickets that are priced, $33. The other one is $63. A sponsoring ticket. So you can get a free ticket if somebody buys a sponsoring ticket. That means that they pay for themselves and you, or you could pay for your own ticket, which is $33. So it's kind of misleading, and I'm not really sure how they're getting away with their language here. Um, in my opinion, it does not seem like it's free. It seems like they pressure people who have money to buy a double ticket so that then they could give that double ticket to another person. Again, that's not free. And this is how this is an analogy I would give to how the ramp works, right? Karen invites you out to eat, and she says, "Don't worry about it. I'll pay the ticket." Now, while you're eating with her, she the entire time, every 5 minutes, any opportunity she gets, she tells you, "Remember, I paid for your meal, and it costs a lot of money. So, if you would want to give a gift towards your meal that you're eating, the food was really good. So if you want to give a gift towards the meal, I'd gladly take it. But again, it's free. It's free for you. I'll pay for it. But if you wanna donate towards, you know, me doing that for you, I totally would get it. And then you leave the restaurant, right, after being persuaded to give some money, and you see somebody outside and they tell you, "Hey, how was the meal?" And you say, "It was really good." And they say, "You know, I paid for that meal so you could have it for free because I love you." And you're all like, "Bro, Karen said that she paid for it." But she didn't. This other person paid for it. Karen said it was free, but it wasn't because the other person paid for it. They paid for me to eat there free. But the entire time that I ate there for free, Karen was putting pressure on me to give, using the free meal to put it over my head to say, "Remember, I've done something for you. You need to do something back for me." And that's how the ramp works. And so that's why it's so misleading to me. I don't believe that it's free. In my opinion, I would say that it's not free. Okay. Occasionally, the ramp hosts an event and includes, they just say, sometimes they offer a free meal, but you have to prepay for it. Okay. Our commitment to Hamilton. We are grateful for our neighbors, the local churches of Hamilton, our civic leaders and law enforcement, businesses, yada yada. We are committed to walking in integrity. There's that word again. Cooperate with proper authorities, protecting people, serving the city again, and continuing the work God has called us to do. With gratitude and respect, the leadership of the ramp. This was not written by Karen. This entire thing that we just read right now was not written by Karen. Who knows who it was written by? We don't know. And they're telling you, the community members of Hamilton, Alabama, they're telling you, "I love you. Here's this letter that I wrote for you." And you have no idea who wrote it. The person who is in charge of the ministry themselves could not bother to sit down for a few minutes to express their concerns and to express their love and appreciation for you. She could not even be bothered. That to me speaks volumes. The fact that it's not signed Karen Wheaton on there speaks volumes. It says that she does not care. It says that she didn't even have a few minutes to spare to answer questions, to make it seem or to show that she actually cares for the community and that she wants to be transparent, that she cares about children, and that she will do everything in her power um, to see justice brought to her own son-in-law for doing this awful things to children. That's my opinion. All of that was just my opinion. Okay. Thank you if you made it this far. I know it's been a long video, but thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for making your voice heard. Remember, Derek Baker is putting on a demonstration, a protest, to make all these allegations about the ramp known to the people who are visiting out of town. And those details are in another post that I made on here on Facebook and on TikTok and wherever you're watching this. So thank you so much. God bless. Love you. May God bring justice.